Hello everybody out there and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. Unfortunately late, again, due to many reasons. Number one, our books came late. They actually ended up coming on Wednesday. But the most important reason why this review is late, number two, I guess because of the extreme change in weather, one day being 60 degrees, the next day being 30 degrees. That is a huge difference. That's 30 degrees difference. My voice decided to take a break. And I didn't have my voice for most of the beginning of the week. Around Wednesday night, when I did the haul video, things started to fall back into I would like to say a norm, sort of. Today, which is Friday, on the eve of the big blizzard that's going to be hitting the East Coast, or New York specifically, tomorrow, I look out the window, I see little flurries here, there, and everywhere, but I remember talking to Lisa on Skype when Sandy hit, and I said, oh, look, our power's fine. I don't know why they're saying it's such a bad storm. And the next thing I knew, I swear to you not, and if Lisa is watching this, hopefully she'll confirm in comments, the power went out literally 2 minutes after I had said that to her. So I'm looking out now and seeing little flurries here, little flurries there, but I'll probably wake up tomorrow morning and there will be a full-fledged blizzard going on. And we'll get like 7 feet of snow. But I could also be right. And when I was a kid, I've always wanted a blizzard. I said this on the live show tonight. But I learned not to trust the weather. I trust what I see outside. So we'll see where that goes. I will have something involving the blizzard tomorrow to mention at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. So you guys are seeing this on Saturday. If you don't live on the East Coast, you're lucky. It's a normal day for you. Unless, of course, it's raining or something like that. Then it's a gloomy day for you. But anyway, enough rambling. Let's get into the books, unfortunately, that are late, that were released on
January 13, 2016.
So, if the blizzard doesn't hit, we hopefully will have an on-time review for you guys. As soon as we get the physical books, we will read them as fast as we can. This was a very heavy week. Next week is a bit lighter, so as soon as we get the books, we will absolutely get on reading them and reviewing them as soon as possible. This week, the review would have been up Wednesday if not for my voice. So, as they say, let's get into the books. And I'm not going to do this all the time. I'll run out of cans that way.
Starting with The Troop, issue number 2.
I love this one. It turns out the leader is hiding something in his room. And when we get to that ending, by the way, this is going to be very recap-esque since it's a week already late. I was shocked a little bit at the end, even though one of the characters in the book wasn't. We get introduced to 2 other characters who might have powers. And it kind of ends with them fighting a person who has powers, but she works for the opposite team, the team that wants to capture them. So it's going to be very interesting to see where all this goes. And that is a hugely abbreviated version. You see the 2 kids really they're cooped up. They want to go out, but I forgot the leader, the guy, doesn't want them to go out because he doesn't want to risk them getting captured, yada yada. They go and they step out, they're in danger, so they're kind of cooped up until he decides, hey, you know what, I'll let you guys go out. And it turns out that he let them out just because he wanted them to be where these signs of new superheroes were, or new people with abilities were, so they could be there to recruit them, so to speak. So they got pissed, and that's when we get the ending. That was definitely shocker. Cannot wait for the next issue to see that explained. But
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 1.
Okay, before I get into the comic, which was awesome, this is issue number 0.
Oh, issue 0? I thought it was
It's
number
issue
1.
number 0.
Oh, sorry.
I have to say one thing that really disappointed me, and it's a reason why I moved my Power Ranger review from physical to digital. When this comic was announced, as you can see here, they announced it to have all the covers of all 7 Rangers. The original 5, the green, and the white. So I figured, okay, great. I'm going to buy one of each, like I did with the Turtles. If you guys remember when Turtles 1 came out, I got all 4 covers that connected. I was going to get all 5 Rangers plus the Green Ranger. I was going to hold off on the white to see maybe later on if I'd want it, or maybe they would do a package deal, or I don't know. So come time to order the books, the original 5 books regular price. We got to the Green Ranger comic and it was $90. We get to the White Ranger one, it's even more. It's about $112. Now, you can't tell me Boom Studios didn't know that Power Ranger fans were going to want the Green and White Ranger, and that's why they really boosted the price. I was very disappointed. I know Boom Studios sometimes brings up the price a little bit on their variants. That was extensive. If they said, okay, Green Ranger's 5, White Ranger's 10, I would have understood that. I would have been okay with that. I wouldn't have bought the White Ranger, but I would have spent the extra couple of bucks on the Green because it's the Green Ranger. 80? Anything beyond $10 is not worth it. And I hope nobody, unless you literally had money to throw away, I hope nobody got that Green and White Ranger cover. Because that was... I would rather wait for a second printing. I don't care if it's a second printing. If at least it's cover price, it's worth it more than paying $60 for a Green Ranger cover. I'm sorry. I love Jason David Frank. Green Ranger is my favorite Ranger, and that's the focal point of issue 0. But there is no way in... Even if I had the money to throw away, there is not a cold day in hell would I waste anything over $10 for a Green Ranger cover. 20 would be like extensive. Like if I really wanted it, I would have paid 20. But that is the absolute period I would have paid for a Green Ranger cover. So I'm very disappointed in Boom Studios for upping the price for the Green and White Ranger covers. Irregardless, though, the book was excellent. The artwork was great. This apparently takes place right after Tommy defects breaks away from Rita's control and joins the Power Rangers. And now we find out that even though Tommy has broken away from Rita's control, there's still Rita in his head at moments trying to push him to go back to her. He has a nightmare in the beginning of the book. She pops visions of her. I know it's not her, but visions of her pop up in Tommy's like subconscious, telling him to do the wrong thing. And the Dragon Zord doesn't respond the right way to him. And you can see that there's a bit of friction between him and Jason. It was really wow. And it turns out there's a crystal involved and something with Rita. I'm really interested in seeing where issue 1 really brings it in. And as a matter of fact, there's going to be a one-shot with the Green Ranger coming in March. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But looking over the ridiculous price for the Green and White Ranger covers, this was an excellent book. I would definitely recommend it. But guys, if anything, get one of the other 5 Rangers. Whichever of the 5 is your favorite. I would not recommend going out and buying those 2 variants. That was too much. And I'm really upset that they severely overpriced, especially the White Ranger for $100 and something. That was way too much.
Okay. Huck issue number 3.
I love this. Huck finishes his list in this book. He finds the dog. He finds the daughter. The governor wants to have words with him, or have not a meeting, but a party for him. He goes. He dresses up in a suit. He feels weird. Huck has his ways of thinking, and in the end, he just decides, tell the mayor, the governor, I'm sorry, but I'm leaving early. I'm not going to be here for breakfast tomorrow, and he leaves. And it turns out he's being followed by the guy from the last issue who said he was Huck's brother. And he says, hi, brother, you want to go meet Mother? And that's the end of the issue. And that is a hugely abbreviated version of it. But I love how even though people are trying to, change Huck, you can see that he's not changing. And there's another moment with him with the letter that says love him. And he's sad. Like, I don't know if he's upset because he was exposed, because people are taking advantage of him, or because he doesn't feel loved anymore. I don't know.
Cagehero issue number 3.
I was going to drop this book because I'm just not really into the story, but the next issue apparently is the conclusion. It says to be concluded, unless it's the conclusion to the first story arc, which either way, I will finish it off. It's nice. It involves these kids that are training. The girl from the last issue ends up breaking into the vault, and surprise, surprise, it's a cage, a 6-sided cage like an MMO cage, or MMA cage. Sorry, MMA. MMO's video games. And what was his name? The main character's grandfather gets taken away, And it's up to the team to save him, so they don their medallions, they become their superhero forms, and so does the old man. He dons his medallion, becomes his doctor or whatever. I forgot what he was called, and they go after the grandfather. To be concluded.
Back to the Future, issue number 4.
I did not like this book. I was very disappointed. There was one scene in this book that really made me smile, and that was when Doc Brown went back in time, got a bunch of Action Comics #1, had them in his car, and started selling them in the future at mint condition for $3 million. That is something. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't go that far, but if I ever got a time machine, I would go back in time to get an Action Comics #1. I'd get 2. One for myself, which I would CGC, and one for my son that I would put away, and if he wanted to sell it when he got older, that's up to him. Maybe I get a third one, just in case a rainy day happens, and we need money. Maybe.
Okay,
Depends.
so that's it?
Yeah, it was an okay book, but I wasn't feeling it, honestly. I'll continue reading it. Maybe the next issue will be better because it broke away from its mini-series, and obviously it's an ongoing now, I believe. I think, at least. But the next issue breaks away from that poster cover, so we'll find out then. I'll try the next issue out. This just wasn't my cup of tea. It was about nails and breaking into the Doc's place right before the big experiment with the time travel. It was alright.
Alright, next are my books. Doc Savage issue number 2, or The Spider's Web Doc Savage issue number 2. To be honest, first of all, I don't really remember reading an issue number 1 for some odd reason, but I really didn't like this book. Like, it was just really
well, then maybe that's
Doc
why
Savage.
maybe you did see a #1 and you didn't like it.
I don't know, but Clark, who's known as Doc Savage, is trying to find out information about this, I don't know, like some type of village of some type, and he goes to this woman to ask for more information about them. And him, along with his other team, they go there, and they find out the soldiers who are in the villages, and they try to take them out and everything, and it was just long dialogue. I at least had to try to read it 2 or 3 times to understand it, but since this is a recap, all I can say is that I wasn't really interested in this book.
Okay.
I mean, I will see issue number 3, but after 3 strikes, if it strikes me as it's out completely. However, though, this book I was actually great to see again. Inferno Resurrection, issue number 1. Now, I remember reading this book from Zenoscope where Mercy, who you see on this cover, actually, she doesn't do missions for Lucifer anymore like we saw in when we got introduced to her. She works with now Virgil. Now, Virgil's this character who brings her back to life. Like, basically, like, when she dies, he does, like, this,
magic?
Yeah, like this magic thing to bring her back and everything. And what I found interesting about this book is that we find out more about her character, which I was really interested in, and the artwork was fantastically drawn. And we get introduced to one of the characters who's going to play, a villain in the book, but she's going to find out more information about the girl who she saves in the beginning of the story, who wants to help a boyfriend who is degenerate and stuff like that. So basically she's like doing good deeds instead of the deeds that she does, which is killing people that are demons. Or just demons in general.
If you notice my head looking out the window, guys, don't mind me. While Mike's talking about his book, I'm just keeping an eye on the weather to see how things are going outside.
Yeah.
So don't pay attention to me.
But yeah, so it's going to be a 5-issue miniseries.
So you got only 4. There's
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm going to come back for the next one.
No, I mean 3 more. You have 3 more to go because this is issue 2.
No, this is issue 1. You were right before. 4 issues.
4 issues, okay.
All right. But another issue number 1 that's in their 3rd volume, Red Sonja. The She-Devil
I knew you'd want to read that. I saw that and I knew you'd want to read that.
This book was really interesting. Like, it first talks about, Red Sonja, who tries to save the king because he's on his deathbed, and she thought that the bull of thunder, or whatever it is, or the bull, whatever. Anyway, the blood of the bull, for some odd reason, we'll keep him alive, and he said that did nothing. So he wanted to give the throne to Red Sonja, and she said that she didn't want to become queen because of the corruption or stuff like that, and she really didn't want to because she's the she-devil, where she wants to protect the people, not use them and slave them. So what she does after the king dies, she goes away, helps other village people, and then in the end, she realizes that since the Black Talons came to hurt the people, that she protects people. She was known as, what was it now? She said the Mistress, Red Sonja. The ending part, to be continued, of course, was really great. I really enjoyed this issue and definitely must read for those of you out there. All right, the last one till we get to you. Back to you. Van Helsing versus Dracula, issue 4 of 5. One issue left until we conclude this, and from what I remember from last time, I thought that Van Helsing was going to go after Dracula, but it isn't. It's actually Van Helsing who talks to Hades, like saying, oh, you betrayed us and everything, how could you? And we find out a little bit about Hades' character, that he actually had a daughter named Angelica. And he talks about how he was the father, and then it grew Van Helsing and him to be back together, but he says, you pull this thing again, then we're done, completely. So we find out more about Dracula's bone, along with the history it has. And if you want to find out that, definitely read the book.
You know that her and Hades are going to break up again.
Why would you do that? Why did you...
No. I don't know. I'm saying it's a prediction.
Oh, well, don't...
Why would I do that? I didn't read the next issue yet.
Don't do that. But I thought you knew somehow.
Oh, no. I just thought it would be funny if they did break up.
They actually... It looked promising for that. And then the end, this is the end where Dracula and his gang go after Van Helsing and her people and Jonathan's girlfriend, man. What she's going through with being the bride and everything. Really, very ugly and everything. But I am going to read the next and final issue to see how this battle will ensue.
Yeah, and I also have Grimm Fairy Tales, which is at 118. That means there's only 2 more issues for... Pat Shannon. I'm very upset about that. I really don't want to see him leave the book.
But before we get into that, let's get into the big 2 digitally, starting with Batman and Robin Eternal, issue number 15.
Tim Drake is beast. You got Tim Drake versus Azrael in here, and I forgot the person who's in charge of Azrael wants Tim to take Azrael's place as Azrael. They want him to be Azrael, basically. And he turns him down. He gets into this fight to the death with Azrael. He wins the fight, but won't kill him. Refuses to become Azrael, so they decide, okay, you know what? Well, then we're going to just kill both of you. And then also, the ending with Jason Todd somehow returning to the moment where he was Robin and a crowbar is involved. That obviously is a play on drugs for sure. They definitely drugged him somehow, or it's a hallucination, but... This was a good issue. I'm kind of upset we didn't get to see Dick in what happened next with Dick, but I'm sure in the very next issue it's going to transition back to Dick.
Green Lantern Corps, Edge of Oblivion, issue number 1.
Alright, so the Lanterns have been searching for months for a way out of the doomed universe, and they haven't gotten a way out. They're happy they're on Mogo, but what's next? They get attacked by this... Mogo decides he's going to illuminate all of space. Is going to become this big, giant, green gas, giant. So every part of the galaxy will somehow find it like a star. And it works. Some Green Lanterns see it and they head towards it. However, it attracts a gigantic planet as well with giant people on it. And at first they attack, but then we find out that they're a peaceful group. And they're looking to survive the world or the galaxies being destroyed. And they know that the Green Lanterns can help them. However, in this race, there is a bunch of other people who want this world to be destroyed, and they feel that the Lanterns are going to be an issue until we get to see the end of the issue, which that was a brutal way for somebody to die, and that's all I'm going to say there. But Edge of Oblivion is a great follow-up to Lost Army. Somebody asked, which one do I like more? Honestly, Edge of Oblivion is only issue 1. But to be honest, I feel like it's a exact continuation of Lost Army. They just retitled it, retooled it, made it a new miniseries, and hit the go button. So, personally, it's the same book. You can't say which was better or worse. Maybe it's a new writer, but it's still the same. It's the same direction so far. It's done very well, but it's really the same thing.
Robin War issue number 2.
Oh, what a waste. I don't know. I hated the artwork, first of all. I couldn't get into the artwork too much. Not that I hated it. I didn't like it. As opposed to all the other issues where I really did. I knew some of the artists and I liked some of the artwork. But anyway, it ended with Huck saying, your Dutch Duke or Dutch or whatever his name is, I don't read We Are Robins, saying to Damien, you're Robin, you're not an owl, you're not one of them. And apparently that snaps Damien out of it, and he turns on the Court of Owls and beats them up, and they end up losing, and the Robins win, and Duke doesn't feel like they're prepared anymore, and maybe they aren't Robin, whatever. And then we find out the most important thing in this entire book is that Dick joins the Court of Owls, and it ends with him saying, I'm not Robin. And he puts on the Court of Owls mask and says, to be continued in Grayson. Obviously, this is going to be a story arc where he gets on the inside with the Court of Owls and then destroys them. It's obvious he's not going to be staying with the Court of Owls. It's really just a plan to take them out. So, personally, this could have been done in a Dick Grayson book and it would have been fine. And I don't know where the We Are Robins book is going, but I don't read it, and I don't plan to after this series either. Truth be told, I'll check out the next issue of Damian, Son of Batman, and if that doesn't grab me, which it might because Bruce is getting his memories back, as far as I heard, this week's next episode, Batman, he remembers, so we'll see. But yeah, this series really, it went full circle, and the only thing I feel like that it's impacted was Dick Grayson, so it could have all been told in a Dick Grayson story. I kind of was let down by the ending.
All new, all different Avengers, issue number 3.
And I was let down with this book exactly the same way. Warbringer, or whatever his name was, he opens up this portal to another realm. The Avengers figure out, hey, we're going to throw him into the portal. We're going to activate the portal, throw him into it before anybody escapes, and then break the device. And they do it. Problem solved. And Sam feels responsible because he knows that Warbringer was there because of him. And Vision knows this, and he kind of covers up for Nova. But then Vision was very un-Vision-like at the end of the book where he says, oh, don't worry. He's like, Nova's, or Sam's like, oh, I'm so glad. Thank you for covering for me. He's like, that's fine. But now remember, you owe me one. I was like, Vision? What happened to you and what's up? But anyway, so basically Nova's blackmailed by Vision. The Avengers are reformed. Who didn't see this coming? Iron Man said, we don't have the funding anymore, but who wants to be an Avenger? And everybody raises their hand. So we have the all new, all different Avengers. And big spoiler here in the epilogue, Warbringer gets killed by the people inside the portal. Yippee. I will check out the next story arc. I have to be honest though. Avengers, XMen. Not too many Avengers books interest me. As a matter of fact, most Avenger books fall either average or below average for me. X-Men, most are good or really good. Only one book in the X line so far has fallen below average, and that's Uncanny. Everything else I'm really enjoying. So, Marvel, pick up your game. This is your main team here, and it ain't doing so well. A-Force, I am lying. A-Force number 1 was average. It was average to a little bit above average. So to be honest, A-Force has a lot of promise, but I don't know if you can count that as an Avengers team book yet because they're not a team yet. When they call themselves A-Force, then it's an Avenger book. So,
speaking of X-Men, all new X-Men issue number 3.
Now this book, however, was good. Cyclops is in jail. The ghosts of Cyclops break their friend out. Cyclops like, why don't you just sit down right here next to me in this nice cell because you're not going to get out of here. They don't believe him. They go outside, and here comes the snow, by the way. They come out, they go outside. They're like, yeah, we're going to get out of here. And then they're surrounded by a SWAT team. So they run back inside. And Cyclops is like, "Oh, welcome back. You want to sit down now?" And nobody listens to him. He's like, "Listen, you're wrong." He tries to convince them in the worst way that they're wrong and what they're doing is wrong. But in the end, they end up blowing out of the jail. The X-Men show up to try to stop them. They jump over the police officers. This big fight between the X-Men and the ghosts of Cyclops happens. And just as the police finally get involved, and the X-Men are like, "Okay, we're good. We're good. We want to play. We want to work with you. We're not against you." The ghost of Cyclops, one of them, the leader, is ready to throw down with the police, and the police are about to throw him down. And that's when Cyclops comes out and makes a big speech about, "I've been living in the shadows, ever since what Cyclops did. Everybody doesn't trust X-Men. Well, it's time to take the name Cyclops and make it good again and make, what we stand for right again. So hopefully one day, things will be great." So the ghosts of Cyclops end up yielding, and Cyclops joins the X-Men and road trip. Really, really good book. I really enjoyed it, and I like the moment between Scott and Hank. That's for sure.
Black Knight issue number 3.
This is an okay book. I enjoy it. It's not a book that I would write home to mom about, but at the same time, it's an enjoyable read. So we get the past. We find out that Black Knight is responsible for many things in the past, and he's killed many people, and that's why the Avengers kicked him out of the Avengers and are now going after him. And then we go back to the present where Steve Rogers says, "Listen, we just want Black Knight. You guys are not involved. We don't want to fight you. We don't have to fight you. We could beat you but listen, all we want is him, and we will leave this world in peace." So everybody ends up walking away, and Black Knight and his people still try to fight, but they lose. And next issue, Black Knight is behind bars. What next? And what does this mean for Weird World? Because Black Knight's been really a strong hand of justice in Weird World.
Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 4.
This was really good. Okay, so Pete and the others escaped. Gamora was left behind. Pete insists, "We got to go back and save my planet and save Gamora." Rocket is refusing to go back because he wants them to have some sort of a plan. And in the end, Pete's like, "Listen, people are dying, Rocket. Turn the ship around." They turn around. They confront Hela. And Pete admits, he said, "Listen, we did not destroy your planet. We did not destroy your people. It was somebody else that we were fighting to try to prevent from destroying your planet. It wasn't us." Oh, no, it was Jay's son, his father. And she's like, "You're his son. You're his heir. I think that we're doing the right thing." And he's like, "Yeah, well, my father's up there probably laughing at all this right now because he's safe and you're fighting me." And this woman doesn't listen to reason, so the Guardians do what they do best. They take her down, and it was really good, and I really enjoyed this first story arc. And it doesn't end. I'm sorry, I keep thinking it ended. Yatat from the Guardians of Nowhere from Secret Wars, he shows up at the end of this issue, and he wants to take Drax down. So we're getting to see some of the Secret Wars characters showing up, the Secret War miniseries characters showing up in the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen next, because this definitely is like round 2 from Secret Wars.
Web Warriors issue number 3.
This one had a really funny ending. The rest of the book was okay. The Electros attack the spiders in their realm, and they actually end up confiscating their base and the Web of Life for Spider-Man. And Karn and the others, they escape. This reminds me so much of the series that really didn't do too well. But anyway, they escape, and now they have to make a plan up to fight against the Electros, get their world back, and send all the Electros back to their world. And it ends with Spider-Gwen going to Mayday's universe to try to get her help. And when Ben opens the door, Electro turns on Gwen. He's like, "Okay, I'm using this old man as a hostage. We're doing things my way." And I love how Ben does the flip and knocks out Electro, and he's like, "I may not be as young as I used to be, but I was a spider, and I still got some fight left in me." I was like, that was the perfect way to end this book. Is this a book to write home to mom about? And there goes a plow. No, but it's enjoyable to read. Average read, but an enjoyable one.
Extraordinary X-Men issue number 5.
The best X-Men book out of all the X-Men books so far. This book, Mr. Sinister gets taken down. Ilana wakes up and the barrier goes back up in the X-Haven. They beat Sinister. It turns out that Cyclops is not the real Cyclops. It's Cyclops' DNA merged with some Inhuman DNA. So basically it's a dirty clone because it doesn't last. Actually, the Inhuman DNA overwrites Cyclops' DNA and it becomes this big monster that the X-Men have to take out. And I love how Wolverine twice tries to take down Cyclops and both times gets the I-beam to the body. And he heals a little bit slower than usual. And you can definitely see the relationship between him and Jean. Not sexual or dating, but you can see the love, like family that they have for each other. If it'll go beyond family at some point, I don't know. But they won, and just like in the all-new X-Men book, Storm makes a speech. And we see Professor X in the crowd. Is Storm seeing this in her mind? Or is Professor X, in fact, alive again? Brian Michael Bendis said in an interview I had with him that as long as he was writing X-Men, Xavier was staying dead. Brian Michael Bendis is no longer writing any X book. Could this be the legitimate Professor X? Or is it all in Storm's head? I don't know, but they go back to X-Haven and Jean convinces Wolverine to stay, and this was a good issue. And I love how Jean tells him in the end, he's like, well, because he mentions that Glob keeps looking at her like, he wants to go out with her, and she's like, well, he's kind of cute. And I love how Old Man Logan's like, well, anything's better than you dating One Eye or whatever he called Cyclops. And she's like, there's a younger version of Scott here too. He's like, really? Great. This is an excellent first story arc. I liked it. This was a way you do an intro to a team and a way to form a team. I loved it.
Alright, next on my books digitally, starting with Silk issue number 3. In this comic book, it starts off where Silk's talking with Spider-Man, with amazing artwork, by the way, and Spider-Man's like saying, you shouldn't trust Black Cat because she's this, she's that, and, basically, just trying to warn her about Black Cat. So, as we learn about the Goblin Nation, how they're the main point in this book, she goes to Black Cat, and then she asks her to go find out more about the Goblin Nation and to take this person, Shrike, with him. It's S-H...
Shriek.
Or Shriek, yeah. I thought it was Shrike.
S-H-R...
R-I-K-E.
Maybe it's Shrike.
Alright, well, whatever. However you spell, however you say it. They go along, and basically, she doesn't want him to go with her because he likes to do things, on her own. So as things happen, as they're looking into investigations, spoiler, Shrike betrays her.
Who didn't see that?
And throws her right in the middle of the goblins, and then that's where it's to be continued. Her against the goblins, by herself. What a way to have it to be continued, Mark, on that story. Red Hood Arsenal issue number 8. Now, this was an okay book. I mean, there was a lot of dialogue. And this is after the Robin Wars, by the way.
Of course it is.
Because,
they
did a little editor's note that this is after the Robin Wars. That now, Red Hood's trying to look into things, and he's looking for Arsenal. Because now Arsenal's with the Joker's daughter. Arsenal's being strictly treated by these people. I forgot what their names were, and I don't think they were known characters, to be honest. About some questions about Red Hood and other stuff. You have to read the book. The end was actually where Red Hood meets up with the Iron Rule. If that makes sense right there. Have you heard of them? Well, he meets up with them, and then there's going to be a fight, saying, who are you? And he says, your worst nightmare. A great way to end it. Red Hood just saying that. So, definitely read the book if you want to find out more information, even about the Joker's daughter. Starfire issue number 8, starring Grayson. And believe me, this is the last time we see him in this issue. And I'll tell you why. So, in Starfire, her and Grayson, they get to know each other, and they basically tell like their stories about each other, about what they've been doing. There's an agent that wants to kill Grayson or shoot him actually, where the government goes after them. So Starfire finds out that they're doing that, and then they're both. It was a really intense book. I'm trying to remember what happened next. So yeah, after the whole thing happened, when Grayson went his own ways and everything, because he didn't want to put Starfire at risk of something bad happening to her. And this was a funny scene actually at the end of the book where Starfire and Soul, they have their little love thing in the pool, and something happens in the pool, and we're not gonna find out until the next issue. I don't know what to think of that.
I don't want to know.
And I just love her.
Next.
All right, next and last book, Red Wolf issue number 2. And after I show this cover, I will come into frame.
Because I feel weird looking this way and looking that way.
Yeah,
And there's
so
nobody
in
talking.
Red Wolf, just to sum up the whole book, Red Wolf is now in present day. He's no longer in the past, and he's in this western place, and he's like saying, "Well, what is this? Like, where am I? Like, what are those skateboards? What are those? And what are these?
What are those?"
I knew you were gonna say that. That's why I stopped. And oh my God, it's coming down. But anyway,
I know.
So the kids who see him acting all cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, they call the police and they say that he's nuts, and they want to take him in to see if he's nuts or not. There's an action scene that goes on where they're attacking the police. He comes in and basically saves them, and then the sheriff, because Red Wolf's the sheriff also in his time, actually comes in and says that we have lots of questions to ask of you, and there's also this other character who is going to be a big, huge villain role in this book, and I think he has like snakes that bite people or something.
Oh, that's nice.
It was really interesting though, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Red Wolf now has to adjust to now the present day and not his past, and hopefully he does not think he's crazy and throw him into the mental asylum. Now we get into the physical books.
Grimm Fairy Tales 118. Sela goes after Belinda because she knows where Belinda went. I forgot what her name is. Was it Mary? Mary who can rise the dead. I believe she gives Wiglaf a spell that allows Wiglaf to look human because he wants to look human. But unfortunately the spell has a couple of side effects. He looks human, but everybody else looks like him. So it's kind of a give and take, and at first he's happy about it, and then he realizes everybody else looks like him. So apparently Mary did the spell wrong. So in the end he ends up breaking the spell and going back to the way he looks. But he thought Mary did it because she liked him, and you see there's a little bit of a romance going on. And then that last page with Sela and Belinda where she finds Belinda, she's like, I just talked and it told me we can't win. It's over. To be continued. Oh man, I'm excited. I don't want Pat Chan's run to end. I want him to remain on this book for another 20 issues. It's just so good, and there's 2 more issues to go before his last issue.
Yeah.
And I don't want it. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, well, I forgot to mention Van Helsing versus Dracula. Robin Hood does make a brief appearance because she needs a witch to help her out, and she goes to Marion.
And now I'm going to pull a you while you do Ninjak. I'm going to go check my messages. I'm expecting something.
Okay, I don't know what's pulling me there, but Ninjak issue number 11. So Ninjak is on his awesome adventures of what's going to happen next, and he's with Mambo. I don't remember her name really. Well, basically they're looking for Ember, who is actually going after them because they're the target. So they're on this island, and they're trying to find out where Ember is with all their technologies and stuff like that. And the artwork, I have to say, is really outstanding in Valiant of this book. So they meet up with this woman who has mystical powers and stuff that could go into their memories about the past. Ember comes along and fights off with them along with, what is this person's name? Basically, it's the one that has like a skull on his face, like saying, if we see you again, you're
Oh,
going to die.
shit. I just read a book about him not too long ago.
Yeah, you did, right? I can't... I can't remember what his name was.
It left me.
But anyway, so yeah, there was...
Shadow Man.
Thank you. Shadow Man, yes. Because I remember seeing that name somewhere. Yes, it's Shadow Man. So the island that they were on, it's not an island. It is, and here's a spoiler, a big, huge, gigantic monster. It is not an island. And I was like, whoa.
Hey, you know, speaking of gigantic monsters, we never got to find out about the dragon that had Manipur on his back.
Oh, yeah. But wasn't that in something else?
That was in something that's long gone.
Yeah, it's actually one of the primal adepts, basically. So, if you want to find out more about that, definitely read the book. And, yeah. So now they just go to where Shadow Man is, along with that island, to go after him. And then we get lost files about Shadow Man and what he does. So it's more of an origin story. So if you want to definitely read about that, definitely read the book.
And there's a preview for Faith #1, which comes out in 2 weeks.
So,
or 2 episodes next week.
Yeah. So this was really interesting. I definitely would say check out Ninjak with him and Mambo as a team. They actually do work together. I mean, him and Exo do in the other book, but I'd say that they're pretty much to get along with.
Birthright issue number 13. I really loved this book. Very little on the past flashbacks. You get a little flashback at the beginning, but the rest is just Mikey fighting this next mage, and this next mage is just too strong for Mikey. He actually is able to take Mikey down, and you see one of this guy who is one of the mages or working with the mages, trying to convert the dad to their side to kind of trick him into getting Mikey, and Mikey, he on the brink of death, and the brother actually stops the mage, and the mage sees the oh god, they mentioned his name over here. He brought down the what was it? Both making... Oh, the diviner. They see the diviner with the brother, and the mage decides, fine, I won't kill him, but other mages won't be the same way. And then the rest of the book is the mom with, I forgot the girl's name at the moment, and it turns out the next issue is going to be a very heavy issue with both of them, because they're going to see another one of the mages.
Oh,
I guess to beat Mikey to it. And she wants to bring Mikey back to Tyrannos, and the mother's like, why can't you live here? And she's like, we don't belong here. She's like, but isn't your Tyrannos at war? And she's like, aren't you? And she's like, wait, no. But honestly, aren't all worlds at war?
Now, here's a book I haven't seen.
He's doing 2 now because he has 2 more Independents.
Yeah, and I haven't seen this in a long while.
And I haven't seen Sonic either.
Yeah, and I thought I finished this arc, but I didn't. Sonic Universe issue number 82 of the Silver Age, issue 4 of 4. Now, I'm really glad to actually see how this is all going to end, and wait till you see the ending of the Silver Age.
Already did.
Oh, you did? Wow. And they're not continuing it on. That's what gets me really mad. But
I thought the book was ending. Apparently the book is not ending.
I thought so too, but basically, Professor Von Schelmer woke up from his unconsciousness, and now it's up to Silver to stop this huge monster. I forgot what his name was, actually. What was it? Well, anyway, it's the monster that's taking over the city and that will swallow it whole. So they use the proportionally amplified power that we saw from the first issue of the first part 1 of Silver Age, and it talks more about it, how they could use it against him, and it's basically him growing taller to face against him, and it's like it says on the front, Attack of Titans. And at first it didn't go so well, and it did when he wants to throw him into the portal, and he used all of his powers to get him in, and it was a huge struggle for that, along with friends that backed him up and everything. But unfortunately, it doesn't have a good ending, because there is a twist, and that happens. And guess what? We're not going to know when or where they end up, because the next story arc is Eggman's Dozen. So we're never going to see Silver again until who knows when.
Next year.
What a great way to end Silver Age. Because I'm now curious.
Well, that was supposed to end in 2015, so I figure maybe a future story arc.
Very sad, but what can you do? Now, this is a homage to the first issue of Walking Dead. This is the Walking Dead issue 150.
Yes, this is the Tony Moore updated first issue cover.
And, oh man, this book was really
Carl
amazing.
gets lucky.
Carl, well, up all night to get lucky, if that's what you mean. So, we see that Laura and Dwight, Dwight who worked with Negan, they leave the group and everything. And in this issue, what I like is that after Rick, gets attacked by these thugs, who was one of them, Morton and Vincent. We get like a little action of Rick. And remember the episode where Rick bit one of the other members, one of the seasons that happened previously? Well, he does that. And, oh boy, it was just really gory there. And then there's Carl, who gets lucky with Lydia and all that. So they help Rick. And this is where he gets strong, like saying, he has a meeting like saying, I was attacked, but thinking about all this, we're not killing the other people. I forgot what their name, the Vision, or whatever they were. Like, it's time to, not make ourselves weak, fight strong, and just annihilate the Whisperers. To annihilate them. And then they all respect him. And I like how Negan goes in the end. Attaboy. So Negan got to his head. He really got to Rick's head. And you know what? It was between that and when he got attacked by those two people. What an issue. Just wow. 150.
I think Negan has something up his sleeve.
I know, but I hope he doesn't let him out of jail. Because I have a funny feeling. No. Not a good idea. But congratulations, Walking Dead, for reaching...
Oh, did I make a mistake? Yeah, I did.
Well, that's at the end.
Oh, you want to keep... Oh, you did that. Okay, you did that.
No, you did.
But this is how you want to keep it.
Let's keep it that way.
All right, the next three books are mine then. Batman Superman 28 breaks out of continuity. This is a flash from the past. This is a story that happened in the past. Superman, it's in space. Something hits the satellite. Superman shows up to save the space, the astronaut, the space people. That's great. The astronauts before they fly out into space. He does some investigating, and it turns out that the object that hit the space station was a gigantic alien with a S symbol. So, who does he go to for help? None other than Batman, who's fighting Clayface, and I love how in one move Superman takes him out. So, later on in the Batcave, he's talking to Batman about, the alien that he found in space, and I love how Batman's boots have bats on them, so, you see the bat prints in the boot. And, after doing some detective work, it turns out somebody's watching Superman and Batman. And lo and behold, it's this alien and Lobo.
Lobo? Wait, which Lobo?
The bad one. And it turns out this alien wants Batman dead. And it turns out this big alien that was killed, apparently it had this relic that had Kryptonian in it. And the Kryptonian tells Superman that there's something out of time, or something that didn't fit in the universe. Actually, not something. Someone.
Oh.
To be continued. There might be another Kryptonian out there. That's what I think. There is probably going to be another Kryptonian out there. All new Wolverine issue number 4. They're at Doc Strange now. And Laura asked Doc Strange for help to heal her clone sisters. And Doc Strange, after doing a little bit of, soul checking, he says, this one's good, this one's bad, this one is bad. Well, not so good, and this one is angry because I'm looking at her, to see inside of her. So anyway, he decides, all right, I'll help. But that's when things go wrong, and one of the sisters, who believes one of the closets is winking at her, shoots it. It releases a giant demon monster. After showing how much of a hero all of them, could be, or how good the good in all of their hearts by defending the people and trying to stop the demon from killing anyone, Doc decides to help them. However, one of the sisters is severely ill. The middle one, as a matter of fact. And after doing a couple of tests, it turns out that there's nothing more he can do for her, but he does send Laura in the direction of a place that can help. And that turns out to be Ant-Man. Looks like she's going to shrink down. It involves nanobots or nanites that are in her brain. And I don't know, prelude to spring's blockbuster Avenger event, Standoff. So, I guess prelude to the spring's blockbuster. Yeah, so maybe Standoff is the one from, Welcome to Pleasant Hill. Yeah, I knew it. Standoff is going to lead into Civil War probably, so just be ready, guys. I saw that at the end of this book, and I was like, interesting. Superman American Alien, issue number 3. Clark wins a trip. However, what he doesn't plan is the plane that's taking him on this trip going down. And it crashes in the ocean, but luckily there's a boat there. And lucky for Clark, he looks just like Bruce Wayne. Because he gets on this boat, and it turns out it's Bruce Wayne's cruise ship. And everybody thinks he's Bruce Wayne. Because apparently him and Bruce look almost identical as teenagers, which is really cool. And he's trying to tell everybody, I'm not Bruce Wayne, I'm not Bruce Wayne. And he meets this woman, I forgot what her name is. Well, whatever her name is, she convinces Clark to play along and believe, let everybody believe he's Bruce Wayne just to have a good time until they can get to shore. And Clark kind of falls for her. Unfortunately, it's one of those one and done stories. He falls for her. It turns out Deadshot shows up in this book thinking that Clark is Bruce and tries to kill him. And, well, Clark apparently can get drunk in this iteration of Superman. And he knocks Deadpool not only out, but off Deathstroke. He knocks Deathstroke not only out, but off the ship and probably a million miles away. The book ends with him coming to shore, and he asks the girl to go with him, and in the end she's like, no, I can't be your tiny creature, Clark. You're something much bigger, and I don't want to be in your shadow. And then we get one page with Bruce seeing that apparently Clark is on his yacht, because Bruce never shows up to his parties, apparently, because he's too busy training with Ra's al Ghul. And he actually goes, who are you? That's going to be interesting to see if Bruce ever finds Clark. Nothing more on Doomsday. I guess that was like one of those things where they just show Doomsday. I'm glad they're not really focusing on Doomsday as the monster of this.
Doomsday?
Yeah, they showed Doomsday in issue 2. There was like a epilogue kind of deal. One page.
Oh, I'm thinking of something else. Because I'm looking at this and I see Dr. Doom on the cover.
Alright, good.
Thank God it's End. Secret Wars issue number 9.
And remember what I said about not being so bad?
Uh-oh.
Wow. I really should eat my words more often.
It was pretty good. I'm just glad it ended. But
I like this.
It was like, okay, like, they, like, with
Doom figured out it was a distraction, the zombies. And he confronts Mr. Fantastic, who is looking for the Molecule Man to set things right.
And like you said, they were gonna meet each other, Reed and Dr. Doom, to fight each other. And also,
Doom was ready to erase him from existence, but he didn't bring Molecule Man anything to eat. And also, we get to see the betrayal of the Maker, who is basically Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe.
And here's some artwork too, by the way.
Miles was so nice, though. He shows up and he's like, I'm hungry. And Miles gives him, you want my burger? I have a burger. And he eats it.
I know. And actually, Doctor Strange actually, what was it, Doctor Strange? The one that hangs upside down. The one that hangs upside down.
Mr. Fantastic?
No. Thank God I have the characters thing. Owen Reese. The Molecule Man, yeah.
Molecule Man.
Yeah, actually, when he comes in and everything explodes.
Also, T'Challa has the... Did you notice that T'Challa had the... one of the emeralds?
For the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, and he went back in time and came back again?
I know. I saw that.
Okay.
And I thought that was really interesting. And then we have, Black Canary that's, helping the other village people and all that stuff. And then we have Miles. gets who.
I love how it says right here 8 months later. Like they literally fast forwarded time here.
The Marvel Universe, the Primers.
So apparently it's now Marvel Prime.
Yeah, and then he owed Miles, with the
Deadpool.
I'm thinking
and the
about
merch for money.
I don't think I'm gonna. Maybe, but I don't know. And then we have
the whole
Susan
Fantastic
Reed,
Four
the whole
family,
Fantastic
except for Johnny and Thing
and Ben. Yeah. And then after that, when everyone gets together, it seems like,
What Reed is doing, he's doing what Doctor Doom was kind of doing. He's overseeing all the different universes, and what's happening is Franklin's creating all these different universes that were destroyed by the incursion, and the Molecule Man is separating himself again, sending himself to all these, a version of him to all of these different dimensions, and instead of setting them up for destruction, unlike what was originally set into motion, now Valeria wants to study and record all the different worlds, and that's the purpose of what their studies are. So I love how Reed said in this book to Franklin, we're no longer superheroes, we're just scientists.
Just scientists.
I love that. That was perfect. They're not dead. However, Marvel's giving them a break.
I'm just glad it's over. The Secret Wars. That's all I have to say.
I'm happy it's over, but I thought that the ending was really good.
No, the ending, it was a good issue. I'm just, after all the delays and everything.
You're just glad it's done.
I'm just glad it's done. But yeah. Now your last book.
Batman TMNT issue number 2. Apparently people are saying James Nintendo Nerd, or James the Video Game Nerd, and Mike Mai Tai were in the first page.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
I don't know if that looks like them, but okay. I mean, look, if it was quoted that that's them, fine. So you got the Turtles fighting Batman, and I gotta admit, Batman is, anybody versus Batman, it's very hard to give anybody other than Batman the upper hand. The Turtles lose. Batman is just he's too strong for them.
Really?
And he ends up taking Raphael's Sai, and, Splinter comes in, fights Batman for a page, and then they disappear. They do some research on Batman. I love how Raph and Donnie kind of have a little rift between each other. Rift. No, they just riff each other. They fight back and forth with each other like brothers.
No, because usually it's like Leo and Raphael. Wow.
You got Batman trying to do research on the Turtles. You got the Turtles trying to figure out a way home. And it turns out, here's a spoiler for you guys. If the Turtles do not make it home, they will the mutagen that made them into the Turtles will erase, and they will go revert back to their turtle and rat forms. And Shredder knows this, and he wants to get out of the universe and leave the Turtles behind. And there's a really good moment between him and Penguin. And then the ending of it all, the Turtles show up at the Batcave.
Wow.
This is a really good mini. And obviously the Turtles are going to survive. There's 4 more issues to go.
They're gonna survive,
obviously the Turtles are going to make it back, because obviously they beat Krang and Shredder is killed in the Turtles universe. So obviously it's going to end, and it's going, they're going to make it back in time. I thought this was a great issue. I really enjoyed it.
Yep. And that's all the books.
Yep, guys. So really quickly, as I'm talking about this wonderful blizzard we are having, I will be doing 2 things tomorrow. Or today, because this will be uploading after I do a couple of things after this video. But as you are seeing this video, there should be a live show going on, possibly, because sometime during Friday, I will be taking my camera, because a lot of people enjoyed looking out the window during Dark Avenger Live. I will be recording the blizzard via my window. Unfortunately, I can't go on the roof or anything, and I want to keep this camera safe. So from the comfort of the room, I'm going to be doing a 2 to 3 hour live stream. It's going to be completely muted, just looking out the window and, enjoying the snow. So if you guys would like to see a live stream with just snow.
2 hours?
2 hours. It's like one of those things like what Hallmark does on Christmas, where they show you that fireplace and they play the music. If you guys want to get music on the side through iTunes and play it while you're watching the snow, feel free to. I don't want to get hit with a copyright for playing music, so I'm not.
That's what's
so if you want, the video's mute already. play some music in the background and enjoy some of the blizzard that will be going on. I will also be shooting a video before the live show, hopefully trying to catch the early morning when the storm is supposedly supposed to hit, but it looks like the storm's already kind of here. So I will be doing a video of the early morning. I'll probably try to shoot that to upload it before I start the live stream. Live stream will hopefully be around 12 o'clock, 12 to 3 Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. I won't be here. I'll probably be...
All depends. And again, it will be mute. Both the video and the live stream will be mute because life is going to continue on in the house, and I don't think you guys want to hear a house of random assortments of statements and whatnot. And also, I don't want to invade the privacies of my family if they want to say something, because you guys will definitely hear it in the kitchen. So, unfortunately, the videos will be mute, but put music on in the background and enjoy some snow. That's it for this video, guys. Yep. Links in the description below. Let us know in the comments below what you guys thought of the books that we talked about in this episode. And as always, until next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you guys in the next video.
Later, everybody.